Most conversations about ERP data portability focus on how to get data out when you leave. With Carillon, in standard deployments, that question has a different answer because the database was never inside Carillon's walls to begin with. In standard Carillon deployments, the client's ERP data resides in the client's own dedicated Carillon database. In the environment the client selects, whether on-premises or in the client's own cloud environment. Carillon does not normally hold the client's database. The data has been in the client's own infrastructure from day one of the relationship. What happens when a Carillon client stops using the system depends on the license type. Carillon offers two options. A client holding a Carillon perpetual use license owns the right to use the software indefinitely. The database is already in the client's environment. There is no departure moment in the traditional sense. The client can continue using Carillon indefinitely, subject to the terms of the perpetual license, with no ongoing software license payments to Carillon. Nothing changes about the database when a client with a perpetual use license stops paying for support. A client holding a Carillon SaaS license pays a monthly fee for the right to use the application software. When that fee stops, the right to use Carillon's application ends. The database, which has always been in the client's own infrastructure, does not move. It remains in the client's environment, accessible with any standard SQL tool on the same day the SaaS relationship ends. The client retains the database in native SQL Server format, with tables, transaction history, configuration data, and relational structure intact. That database can be queried directly, connected to reporting platforms, archived for compliance purposes, or used as a structured source for future migration work. No export window, no vendor request, no deadline. The NetSuite departure process is structured differently. Oracle's terms of service state that following expiration or termination of the agreement or a customer account, Oracle will deactivate the applicable customer account and delete any data therein. Those are Oracle's own words in Oracle's own contract. As a practical matter, NetSuite customers should complete their data extraction before expiration or termination because Oracle's standard terms do not promise continued post-termination access. Oracle documents several extraction paths: full CSV export, saved search exports, report exports, SOAP web services, and Suite Analytics Connect through ODBC, JDBC, or ADO.NET drivers. These are real capabilities, and many organizations use them successfully. Oracle also notes that relational aspects of exported data can be preserved if the internal ID is exported with each data row. Carillon does not dispute that these tools work. The distinction is format, timing, and control. Oracle's extraction paths provide access to data through export tools, reports, search results, web services, and analytics connectors. They do not provide the customer with a copy of the underlying NetSuite production database in its native database format. That database environment is Oracle managed, runs as part of Oracle's cloud service, and is not delivered to departing customers as a database backup or native database copy. Oracle also documents practical limitations in its own export tools. The full CSV export may time out for large datasets, requiring users to export smaller sets from individual lists or reports. And Oracle documents format-specific limitations involving Unicode characters and decimal precision in CSV exports. For companies subject to IRS machine-sensible records requirements under Rev Proc 98-25, the question extends beyond whether data is exportable. The IRS requires retained machine-sensible records to provide sufficient information to support and verify tax return entries, reconcile to the taxpayer's books and return, contain sufficient transaction-level detail, and be capable of being processed upon request. A native SQL Server database with preserved relational structure and transaction history can make those obligations easier to satisfy, provided the company also maintains the required documentation, controls, and audit trails. Exported CSV files can also satisfy record-keeping requirements, but doing so may require more deliberate planning to preserve relationships, documentation, field definitions, and audit trails. Carillon believes a company's ERP history should remain usable, queryable, and auditable for as long as the business needs it, without depending on a vendor's cooperation, without managing a forced export window, and without racing against a deletion deadline. With Carillon, in standard deployments, the database is in the client's environment from the first day of the relationship to the last. With NetSuite, Oracle provides documented extraction tools, but the customer needs to use those tools to extract its data before the account is deactivated and deleted under Oracle's standard terms.